Yeah, so interestingly enough, you and I both have a fondness for gaming, right? It's got a special place in our heart. I found out that there's actually an AI company called Speechly, who has been around, I think, since 2016 is when their inception was. But their aim is to use AI or use AI tools to help make a safer space and have some kind of applications working with gaming companies. So they've paired with Roblox to create a safer environment. So what that's going to do is chat moderation, lobby moderation, that type of thing. But what it made me think of was just back on August 31st, Call of Duty actually implemented something like that, and I think they're called Modulate AI. I think was the
Okay.
name of their company, right? ToxMod is the name of their product. Yeah, it's Modulate.ai, and they're going to start policing lobbies and voice comms in the game using AI tools that will
So
automatically
Rico,
look for.
you've been banned since August 31st.
Yes,
That's
no,
basically the
no.
time. Because I play with you. I play Call of Duty with you.
Come
And
on.
you're listen. Well, here's the thing though, dude. So, and I know you're about to get into this, but I also kind of want to mention here. I think
Sure.
about this, and I think you're doing it in fun, right? You're goofing
Right,
off.
right.
We're all laughing,
Saying
and
stupid
people do
things to
this
people
all the time, right? Like,
Yep.
I mean, I don't do it nearly as much as you do it, but I definitely do it too.
Yes.
And the thing is, ever since you told me about this story, I've been a little more reserved, at
Yes,
the end
in
of
the
those
lobbies.
matches. And
Yeah.
so it's even in the beginning and the end, and so has everyone else. And I think to myself,
And that's the
wow,
point.
like, yeah, like toxicity, like, sure, like, I get it, right? But the fact of the matter is, like, I know it's just you and I, and I'm sure nobody else in the world likes toxic gaming, but
Right.
you and I kind of like sort of enjoy that element, right? Like, it's
Rust,
fun.
Call of Duty, any of
Yes,
those games.
exactly,
Yes,
dude.
yeah. For
Like,
anybody who
it's
doesn't know what Rust is, yeah.
yeah, exactly. It's like talking smack, playing around and just messing with people a little bit just to see if you get a bit of a rise out of them, right? It's
Sure.
hilarious, right? It
Get at
leads
'em,
to some
yeah.
really hilarious results.
Fun
And
death comms, yeah. Yep.
right, fun death comes, exactly. And basically, folks, for folks that don't know what that means, is death comes is like, okay, so we're going, I kill somebody in Call of Duty, right? And they, like, whatever they said right after I kill them, it comes through to my speakers, so I can hear what they said, and it's hilarious. I mean,
It's
like, some of
always
this stuff,
funny. It
it's
surely
always
is.
funny, right? Exactly. And so Rico, I'll let you keep going with your point, but I just wanted to mention that really quick because it was something
Sure.
that I noticed myself doing right after you
Yes.
mentioned that.
And ultimately that's what it's going to do. It's changing player behavior. It's a positive thing, but I think it's a double-edged sword. And my point to bring both the articles forward. Roblox is more of a kids game. I know there are people who are older that I'm not overly familiar with it. So from a safety standpoint, it's great because moderators can't catch everything, right? And hate speech is obviously a problem nowadays.
Yes.
And children do play these games whether they should or not. You have a bunch of different age groups that are playing those games, and the moderators can't be everywhere all the time. So if they use the AI to cut out things like hate speech, racist speech, any of the protected speeches, that are out there that shouldn't be in the sure. But the issue that I take with it is the fact of now you're being policed by AI. It may just be video games, but that opens a door, right? And it's a very slippery slope down to, like, remember Demolition Man? We talk about that movie oftentimes. And if anybody has not seen Demolition Man from the late 90s, there's actually a system in the future that every time you curse, every time you say something that's not allowed, you get a fine. And it spits it out from this machine that looks like a hand dryer to me.
Right.
I didn't see in a bathroom, but that's the point. So it's interesting. I like to see that AI, again, we talk, we're going to talk later in the episode about collaboration between AI companies, but being policed by AI this early on, it'll be interesting to see how many people get player bans just simply based upon their speech. And if they take it to the point of death comms and that type of thing, because ultimately people are alone in their home, or, you're in your household and what you say in your own home is whatever. But If you can't control your temper and you say the wrong thing, then you may be banned from Call of Duty.
So yeah, no, for sure. And there are a couple things to note here. One, I was thinking about something the other day. I was watching something on one of the business podcasts that I listened to, and they were talking about the Hawthorne effect. Do you know what that is?
No, I haven't heard of that.
Yeah. So basically, the Hawthorne effect is the act of being observed changes your behavior. Right.
Oh, okay.
For
Yep.
better, for worse, right? It isn't always for better. It isn't always for worse. And so
Right.
the fact of the matter is, though, it changes your behavior. So,
Mm-hmm.
and the thing is, they've done a whole bunch of studies on how to mitigate the effect of this in UX and whatnot, because we know the world, right, is going to a more, let's say, observed state of being, right?
Yes,
like,
it seems
clearly,
to be, for sure.
since 2000, we're more observed than we used to be, right? Like,
you can't go anywhere without being on the camera.
And so nowadays, though, even more so, right, with AI tooling coming in and whatnot, you're seeing this, right? So it's sort of like the old joke of, oh, I've got my recorder here, that's recording everything with my phone, but and people joke about that, but like, now it's like very clear and in your face with this. It's like, no, you are being watched, you are being moderated, and the thing is, like, I agree, like, certain hate speech and whatnot, like, I get that, like, that to me, that feels like, all right, that makes more sense. But like, people just say a lot of goofy stuff that isn't necessarily hate speech, that is aggressive.
Right.
And I do not think that you should be banned for all of that, right? Like, I mean,
Sure.
there's an element of smack talk, right? And
Right.
if I were
It's
swearing,
part of
I'd
the
say
game.
another thing, right? It's literally just part of the
Yep.
game. It's part of the experience, right? And
Right.
yeah.
And you and I both know, we've been in lobbies where the wrong thing has been said.
Oh, of course, many times.
And what do we do? Oftentimes, what people do, and of course, there's a juvenile element to the game where there's a lot of teenagers in there, and they kind of go along with it. But then you'll have some that actually will be heavy-handed and say, "Hey, that's not the right thing to say. You shouldn't say
Right.
that." And that's what AI is going to do here. Is it's going to moderate that for them. So yeah, it may save some jobs, or well, not really save jobs, I guess, but it may save some money by not needing people to review that type of thing when it's reported. But it'll be interesting to see what words they actually include in that. Because let's face it, there are some curse words that are like lower tiered curse words that aren't exactly hate speech, that if you got banned off of a game you just paid $60 or $70 for, because you're in your home alone and lost your temper, one time.
Yeah.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what the player base does with that. It really will be, because I know it's already a struggling a game because of streamers and what they like to see versus the player base itself.
Right.
So
yeah,
this is just another thing it'll be a catalyst to see what happens. So anyway, the point I just wanted to make was being policed by AI is now becoming a thing. I think we're going to see it in other applications in the future. But now Roblox and Call of Duty are two, pretty big games that are out there.
Yeah, Roblox. I mean, that's like, kids play it, adults play it, whatever. Sure. And same with Call of Duty, right? Like, and we're going to probably see it in more games as well. Very interesting stuff that's come up in the news with that. At the Roblox thing, I wasn't on my radar. And really, like, thinking about companies that build their whole presence around doing this type of moderation, right? Like, what was the one you said was called? It was called like mod something or moderation.
It's modulate, yeah, modulate.ai.
I mean, it was like, whoa, I was
Speechly.
like, yeah. So that's pretty interesting, and it's going to be something that we'll see more and more of.